guess what we're doing? Well, what he's doing. I'm just standing there being an idiot. John's back, and today we're putting together the valve train. So there's a few different ways to go about this. This is my preference when it comes to setting one of these up. I like to pull all of the rockers out and put all my timing together, top dead center, line up my marks, make sure everything's good. That way I can test turning the motor over just to make sure the dots come back in line and sync, and I don't have to worry about bending a valve, messing up a valve, or anything of that matter. So there is a special tool from OTC. What we got here? It's 303452. So what that does is goes underneath the valve. See if we can do like a little something. So it goes underneath the cam and then pushes down on top of our retainer, and we can push it down. Let me see if I can get that focused. We can get it to push down and move that valve just far enough out of the way that the rocker and the lash adjuster will go in there nice and smooth and sit like this. So that's what we do 32 times. So yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, 32 times.
32 times, yeah.
Very tedious.
Tedious at TDC. So, all right, yeah, that's what's happening right now. But we are making progress. I'm gonna get the valve covers set up like a laborer and do the dumb work. Get the valve covers cleaned, gaskets set, and get the headers bolted back up on the block. And let's get this pig back in its home. All right, bye. It's gonna take a couple seconds here as I continue to get this thing ready to put in the car. Middle of this time lapse. Just want to go over putting the clutch and bell housing in the car prior to installing the motor into the car. Makes life a lot easier on you and your face in case you drop the clutch on it, all that good stuff. But just wanted to highlight the old Mantic twin. I've been running with Mantic for quite a few years now, and Jeff at Mantic is one stand-up dude. He deserves some credit here because this clutch has been through a lot. I think we've done 3 different versions of this clutch to get where it's at now. It's a twin centered iron setup I have in this thing, but he's always been on board. We've had quite a few phone calls. The dude is just stand up. Mantic is stand up. But boy, if you could just get into that adjustable clutch world, come on, man. I keep pushing him. Mantic needs to do it. Take it up a notch here. But man, this clutch is gonna be awesome for the drag and drive. I've got plenty of clamp load and torque rating to be able to handle the little trailer behind it and all the miles we're about to put on it. As well as we're gonna try one of these diamond claws here too. I mean, they said, why not? You should try one, so here we are. We're gonna put this between the crank and the flywheel. Brand new ERP bolts, get her Loctited in, torqued down, and get the bell housing bolted up, and then she's ready to go in the car. So here we go. Man, so now that's all bolted up. Sorry you didn't get to see all that happen. It's not that fun. But clutch is in, check the finger height, everything looks good there. Torque down, bell housing's on. I guess I could put the starter on it. Yeah, John will be here in a minute and it's time to stuff it in. Woo!
Yeah. Get him. Get him. Get him. Yeah. Get him. Yeah.
John's back. And the motor is ready to go in. We got the diaper all buttoned up underneath as best as we can with a Cobra. It's kind of impossible. One of these days we'll be making a video doing a belly pan instead of that, but we gotta make tech. If they want a diaper, there's a diaper, so leave me alone. But yep, time to go in, and we're
good.
We're live! All right, so what we've been doing today is not taking a lot of video because we just want to get some stuff done. So we've got some time-lapse stuff I'll try and edit into this so you guys can see, but as you can see here, we've got the motor in the car. Things have been going pretty well. John is moving everywhere like an acrobat right now. Motor's in, radiator's in. What we gotta do tomorrow is fuel system, blower, trans, and fire this thing up. I mean, we're really close. We got a few things going on. As you can see over here, the Gen 5, I've got one of the early prototype plates, and it does not come, the early prototype, with the filler caps that some guys may have. So they now send you these nice little billet caps. I had to fill mine in with silicone, and we also have the mystery hole that never existed from Whipple. So Nick was actually nice enough to send out a new plate. So tomorrow we'll get this new plate. I'll take a little bit of that, torquing it down, sealing it up, because there's some changes that they made from the prototype to that. This was actually the first Gen 5 kit that was sent out back in 2019. I've had this thing on the car. So everything's going together pretty well. We got some stuff we're gonna do. We originally down at Bradenton got rid of the heat exchanger and we're running just straight ice to the intercooler and back, but we're going to put the heat exchanger back in because we're driving 1,000 miles. And yeah, so things are going good. I've got some video of us putting it in the car, but not a lot to talk about, except tomorrow's another day. It's Friday, and we have to get this thing mobile and get it down to after hours fab, because Saturday at noon, the cage is getting inserted. So that'll get done. So we're either driving it or pushing it, but by Sunday, I'm driving this thing down the road. So here we are with the Gen 5, and we're just pulling these screws out, bolts, whatever you want to call them. Get those out, and the new one is actually O-ringed. This one, I believe, is not that lucky. There you go. Take us rubber mount. So the new Gen 5 plate you'll see here as we go to put it together has actually got an O-ring in the base. We're gonna put a new AT2. Doesn't look too bad, but I got a brand new one. We've been known to melt those down a couple times. So, I mean, this thing's worked, but it's time for some changes. I do change this out from the regular barbed fitting with a clamp on it. I like running the quick connect with the poly line. I'll get into that as we assemble it and show you the way I ran my vacuum lines. I've actually got it down to one vacuum line on the entire engine, so I don't have to worry about vacuum leaks, and boosting fuel pressure and all that is all the same circuit. So cool, next step, and I'll fill you in. Fresh day home from work. Everything's going well. We're gonna get started on switching out this base plate. And what I was talking about yesterday, comparatively, as you can see between these two, original Whipples always came missing one bolt hole for the intercooler. Kind of a mystery why, but never really knew. So here's the new revision. Looks like it's revision F. This is the original prototype here on the left. You can see they actually have done quite a bit here. You can see in this whole area, made quite a few changes. Maybe opened a little bit of volumetric efficiency or volume period before it goes to the intercooler, rounding it off a little bit, thinning it out. It probably actually, I mean, it's got to play into a little bit more flow. But we've got this next bolt hole, and that's going to give us a little bit more of a clamp load. Not to mention, on the opposite side, you see here, we went from using a full silicone setup, where we would just put some Hon Bond or gray RTV here. Now we actually have a groove, and there's a full O-ringed area. So the removal of the blower from the base would be easier, not to mention it's just going to be a better seal than depending on this. But super impressed. I mean, this is super nice. Shout out again to the guys at Whipple. I mean, this whole program would not exist if it wasn't for Dustin and Whipple. Them coming on board back in 2019, getting a blower on this car. I promised that when I got this blower that I was going to be the first one to get the car down in the bottom nines with an IRS and a blower and a 6-speed. And once we got down in there, I think the car went 917 or 921 for a while, and then it was like, man, this thing could actually go 8s. I think we'd actually get an 8-second slip out of this car, and that began the crunch. So here we are, a few years later, still hacking away at it, and we've met our goal of getting the car into the 8s. But from here, it's to take the overall, which I believe the overall 6-speed IRS is 871. We've been 876, and that's held by Nicholas Shortridge with a twin turbo setup. So Nick, I've been looking up to for a while. I even have the magazines from years ago with his car in it, thinking, man, how sweet would that be to have a car that's that fast. And I'm coming for you, boy. Here we are.
What's up?
What are you doing?
Fuel lines?
Fuel lines.
There's fuel lines.
Blowers on.
Getting pretty close here.
New intercooler cores in. Running some fuel lines. Tucking some stuff. Like to keep it tight. Keep things nice. Keep things organized. And we are making some headway. 5 hours and counting. I haven't been taking much video, but here we are, the beginning. It's day one, 3 a.m. We're in Indiana somewhere. It's time for sick summer. We're loaded up. We got McGill. John's driving. Here we go.